So my second part here of LA Auto Show coverage, thanks for tuning in. I'm going to talk about a few of the vendors that are here, just give you a quick overview from an electrification standpoint of what's going on. Let's check it out. Continuing with coverage here at the LA Auto Show, just want to point out that GM has a pretty big booth here. And that's good because obviously with a lot of the news of them cutting production and kind of revamping the business to further accelerate their EV adoption in a much broader scale. It's going to take a little longer to get there, but it is nice to see that they're here. They have a lot of electrified platforms here on the floor, pretty well everything that they have. So I'm glad to see that. I really hope that they're able to speed up production and get some quantitative products, especially in the all-electric environment, out the door for 2024. We'll have to wait and see because I think 2024 is going to be that transition year for them to be able to really start looking to scale up and get those economies of scale, and then we'll see the results probably into 2025. But keep your eyes on GM. Great to see them here continuing to promote EV adoption. So one of the new kids on the block here on the show floor for Los Angeles Auto Show is the Acura ZDX or ZDX all-electric, their first all-electric offering finally coming from the Honda family. And this is a really nice looking SUV, all electric of course, offering about 500 horsepower in this Type S trim, and with still offering 500 kilometers of range, over 300 miles of range, which is great for something like this. Having all kinds of tech built into it, really again performance oriented, and there'll be different spec trims that'll be available for this. Starting Canadian pricing is above $80,000, and you get into the dual motor all-wheel drive, which starts at about $90,000 Canadian for something like that. First deliveries are slated for the spring of 2024, so we look forward to that. And again, there's lots of specs that we can throw up on here. It's just great to see, even 190 kilowatt fast charger, which is nice. It's in that game. 102 kilowatt hour battery pack, giving you, with that charge rate, 120 kilometers in 10 minutes. So you can do the math if you were doing a 30-minute run, which is pretty good. Lots of nice specs in this, and really a good range. I think the A spec will probably be even slightly better range. We'll have to wait and see on that because the tires, I believe, are a little smaller. So we'll have to, so there'll be a little bit better range even on that model. Just again, happy to see Honda/Acura into the all-electric game finally. This is getting a lot of great press here today, so one to watch for next year. So one thing that's great to see here at the LA Auto Show is VW and their presence. This is the first time actually that they've got 3 of their all-electric ID platforms here, being in the ID4, the ID Buzz, and the ID7. So first time we're kind of seeing that here in more real-life format. So great to see that they are continuing to push on their ID platform. I know VW has been start-stopping a little bit over the last few years, but it's a great platform, and I talked to a lot of owners specifically of ID4s. They absolutely love the product, so they've just gotten better with time. So good thing for VW to be doing that, and I look forward to seeing more from them. Good to see the other players here like Nissan. Nothing really new to show other than their current electrified platforms. Toyota as well with all their stuff here. The biggest thing for them this week I think was the hybrid Camry announcement, so that they're going all hybrid only on the Camry, getting rid of the ICE, the only ICE component. Good for them, they're slowly making some steps, but I know that there's more electrification coming from Toyota. You got Lexus and some of the other brands. Again, nothing new here, just nice to see that they still are here promoting their electrified platforms. So Kia continues to make their presence known at the auto shows, especially on the electrification side. Obviously the EV9 is their premier vehicle going into 2024, but they continue with concepts, and here they're showing the EV3 concept, which is a pretty cool item. Again, you won't see real-time vehicles coming with these suicide-type doors and all these, some of these type of very sparse environments that one is. But the interesting thing is that even on the EV3, we're seeing a lot of this design language from the lighting treatments and the body type of elements carry over into these concepts, and a lot of those exterior designs should make it into production vehicles. What we may not see is obviously a lot of those interior touches like the doors, as I mentioned, in the sparse interior. But it's great to see Kia continuing to push the envelope and continue with their electrification strategy, and I'm glad to see that. So Lucid here at the auto show in LA has released the Gravity SUV, their first kick at that can. I'll throw out some specs here as I dig them out on that vehicle along with my B-roll that you can see here. Again, another step for Lucid in trying to broaden their product offering. I've got mixed feelings on that. As you folks know that follow me, I kind of wish Lucid would shore up their original business with their sedan and kind of get things going on the positive side from a financial perspective. However, in saying that, we all know that they have a lot of backing from Middle Eastern, especially Saudi investments, and that money could literally be unlimited, who knows. So the visually might seem a little doubtful, but they continue to innovate, they continue to bring out new products, and I'm sure the Gravity is going to do okay for them. But this, this mid-size SUV market is just so saturated now from an electrification standpoint that it's going to be really hard to compete, and they're going to have to step above a lot of people and ensure that they can that it's a right choice for a lot of people. Who knows what kind of production? From what I'm hearing, it won't start on sale till next year, and we don't know when first deliveries. I think it's going to be around end of next year, maybe early 2025. So wait and see. You can check out their website for a lot of the information. It's good to see that they're out here and they're continuing to try to push their business forward, and I do support that. So I'm glad that they're continuing to innovate, and check them out. And finally, here at the LA Auto Show, Ford has a big exhibit, especially with the Bronco, kind of an off-road or a driving course for them. It's good to see electrification here. Now, we all know Ford is scaling back production a little bit on both the F-150 and the Mach-E Mustang, just trying to square up their business. They have some inventory, trying to catch up for supply chain. A lot of good things, I think, that are going to help them in the long run. Remember, from a US perspective, guys, Ford was the only of the big three that did not need any consumer or government bailout money during that last big recession that we had a decade or so ago. So they may seem counterintuitive to what the market, what the business is doing, but they have some smart people there, and I have confidence that they'll continue their electrification journey, although it might be slowed up a bit, so we'll have to wait and see. That's the general consensus from a lot of the big three and a lot of the OEMs, is that, these pushes by government regulations to, get all electrics by 2030, 2035, 2040, whatever the timelines are very aggressive, and it's very challenging for the OEMs to be able to produce cost-effective vehicles in this short amount of time from an EV perspective. As they continue to ramp up supply chain, everything is more expensive, logistics, inflation, interest rates, it just piles on, supply chain, right? All this kind of stuff piles on and makes it really hard for the OEMs to catch up. So I'm confident that Ford and the others will continue to do what they need to do, although the timelines may slow down. And I've said this right from the beginning when I started covering this market, is that this stuff isn't going to happen overnight. This is a decades-long transition to EVs. And even though governments may put policies and mandates, those could be flexible or living type of statutes that governments are striving for, because the markets and the reality of the situation is going to help dictate somewhat. Now, I'm not saying we should not have policies and we should push as hard as we can, absolutely, because as you folks know, the movement to zero emission needs to happen faster, right? We're just not moving fast enough, especially for the larger markets like the US and Europe. China's going gangbusters. But again, they have the biggest piece of the greenhouse gas emission pie, right? I think something like 40% of all GHGs come from China and India, or 50% between the combination of those, or maybe even more. So it's a lot, those two countries right away can do a lot. Canada, we're about 1.5%, so even if everything changed to EVs tomorrow and we had net zero as far as our emissions, we'd still only be impacting 1.5% of the global emissions. It sounds like a little bit, but it's still meaningful, because we don't know how Mother Nature will react to even these small shifts and small changes. That 1.5% could be a big deal in giving us more time to combat climate change and stabilize the climate and the environment and all that kind of stuff. So it is still very much a worthy cause, and the more countries that contribute, the faster we can get there. So I am glad to see the major OEMs here. I have not seen Stellantis here, so I don't believe that their presence, again, they are in transition as well with their electrification, but nice to see the South Koreans in full force and others as well. So that's my take on the LA Auto Show. Hope you enjoyed this quick coverage. Thanks very much for watching, and until the next time, I'll see you when I see you. Take care and bye-bye.